Hey guys, All in Crypto here and welcome back ladies and gentlemen for another YouTube video. In this video, we are going to be giving you an overall cryptocurrency market update. We're going to be addressing the absolute fear and doubt that is gripping this market at the moment. And we're going to be really asking and hopefully answering the question, is there any reason to worry? You guys know that I still believe that cryptocurrencies have a bright future, and ultimately still do follow the narrative that we are still in a bull market. We're going to cover a number of things in this video that hopefully should give you an idea of where we're at and what the future may look like. Now, let me just say that I am not a financial advisor and nothing that I say or do on this video is financial advice. I just feel I have some interesting points to share with you. So without further ado, guys, let's get straight into this video. And how I want to start things off is by giving you a quick overview of what we're going to look at in today's video. We're going to be looking at the Bitcoin chart. We're going to be addressing a number of things like people calling for a head and shoulders that is perhaps forming on a bigger time frame that would be colossal and would indicate a serious sell-off to the downside. I'm going to be talking about why I don't think this is the case, why I do actually still believe we have bottomed. Now, I can see, even though I believe that, a chance that we do sell to the downside, but I don't think it will be with any sort of significant momentum. I think there is so much going on in the crypto space right now. Fear and doubt really shouldn't be placed there and really shows a dependency on mainstream media outlets in regards to, there's a lot of speculation going on at the moment and people aren't really looking at the facts. We're going to be looking more importantly at the RSI. And more specifically, the fact that we actually went below this level here on the RSI and what this traditionally has shown us. So you can see you went below here. If you look traditionally, ladies and gentlemen, every time you've gone below this, a recovery follows it. So we're going to be covering that in more detail. We've got lots to get through in this video, and I'm really hoping this video kind of maybe chill some of you out there. We're also going to be looking at what everybody is fearing at the moment, and that is the fact that there is a exponential or a greater amount, quite a magnificent amount of shorts being placed on the market right now, and how people are very worried about this. I actually believe that this is a bullish indication in my opinion, because more traders lose money than make money. I think it's times when there is fear and doubt that you can really capitalize on that, if you understand what you're investing on and the longer term future that this technology and the cryptocurrencies that are a part of it has. So we're going to be really summarizing. I actually think that this level of shorts could be a good indication that we have indeed bottomed, because we can see what happens quite commonly when there is kind of an unfair amount of shorts against longs. We're also, of course, going to be looking at the total money in the crypto space. And what we're going to do here, guys, is really show you that this kind of time period, the months of May through to July, are usually quite, they act like this quite typically. And how we're going to do that is by looking at 2017 and what took place back then during this time period, and why this could be a telling sign that everything perhaps is okay. We're also going to be looking at Bitcoin dominance. We're also going to be looking at the RSI on Bitcoin dominance. And we're very much the same story here, guys. When we see this kind of levels on the RSI, this is another telltale sign, in my opinion, that we might have bottomed for the overall crypto market. Because yes, we know over time Bitcoin dominance is naturally going to get less and less as more altcoins develop kind of promise, but this is a good indication. When Bitcoin sort of starts to recover on this can be a telltale sign that the overall market is going to recover, because Bitcoin will recover and then the altcoins will just follow it. The same way if Bitcoin sells off, the rest of the market follows. I also want to, before we jump into all this, and I know I'm ramping on here, guys, we've got a jam-packed video. This is for the people who perhaps are worried. I think I can understand it in a lot of respects that people are worried. Certainly if you bought up here, guys, you're considerably down on your investment, but I've been here before back in 2017, and ultimately it paid off in the long run, and that's because of the underlying fundamentals that this technology has and what kind of a role it's going to play in the future and the value it's going to accrue as a result of that. So Coinbase says interest from pension funds and hedge funds has skyrocketed. Institutional holding soars 170%. Isn't this funny when you would not think that was the case if you just followed the sort of mainstream narrative? Because, it's all doom and gloom, countries banning Bitcoin, or Biden targeting Bitcoin or whatever it is. And by the way, a lot of Biden's people close to Biden are actually Bitcoin millionaires. They hold Bitcoin. You know, there's I think people are thinking that one big narrative that's being pushed now is that, you know, America's going to bring the kibosh down on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. It's not as simple as that. You know, we will get some more definite signs of that happening. I think this is largely speculative at the moment. I think regulations are coming. That is not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, that's a good thing for Bitcoin meeting the traditional world of finance. So this is just an article that I thought I'd bring up. And one thing I want to talk to you, you guys know that I mention this article all the time, but there's another confirming factor of why I was so bullish on this article is the World Economic Forum, which are huge, by the way, guys. Blockchain could disrupt 867 trillion in traditional markets. This is an update from them. Cryptocurrencies enable global financial inclusion. This is really what the World Economic Forum want, what Davos wants, and what the whole kind of globalist agenda is really all about. Because what they essentially want is everybody onboarded in the system. And you can't do that in a traditional sense at the moment. There are some countries out there, poorer countries, and some are even less than this, that probably 60% of their citizens don't even have bank accounts. They don't even have basic things like identification. Blockchain solves this problem. So this video, and that was really the outline, you know, that's really gone through a lot of what we're going to go through in this video, but we're going to go into more detail in each step. The point of this video is really to try and bring everybody back down to earth. Hopefully put some people's minds at rest, and we're going to focus on Bitcoin because Bitcoin, of course, is the driver of space in the value. Now, there's lots of people calling for a head and shoulders here. This is really not a traditional head and shoulders for a number of reasons. If you look at the neckline, that gives you a number of, that gives you a number of indications that this perhaps isn't. You can see a very strong sort of buying floor here, guys, in this kind of section here. This is a good sign. This isn't necessarily a bearish sign at all. I don't subscribe to this kind of head and shoulders theory that we're setting up for a huge head and shoulders. We could do it. It would pass as a head and shoulders, but it's not really a traditional head and shoulders. Ultimately, you know, this structure that we're currently going through to me looks more like a bottoming structure than these kind of overhanging branches that we had before we sold off. And we are seeing more of a kind of, you know, testing of these levels, and they're actually acting as support. You know, we're seeing buyers come in at these levels, which is another bullish sign. I just want to quickly, we've got lots to fly through, guys, so I'm just going to fly through it all. If you look at the RSI, guys, in comparison with Bitcoin, every time you get down to these levels, in regards to strength, it's always followed. Here is an amazing time to buy. When you're down here in these RSI levels, it's buy time because they're always followed by a buyback. That is certainly true and has been true throughout Bitcoin's history, really, guys. So that is a bullish indication, in my opinion. I am bullish on Bitcoin. And I know that sounds absolutely crazy. And I know there's a lot of people out there that do think we're going into a bear market. And I understand why. This sell-off has been severe. But we've spoken about why this sell-off was as severe as it was, and why this was largely caused by leverage. If you take the percentages of people that were leveraged, that got liquidated, and how much sell pressure that added in terms of percentages lost on your investment, if you took the leverage out of that, it would be more like the 2017 pullbacks, and you'd still be saying, look, we're in a bull market, this is just continuation. This, of course, then gets propagated by fear, and it all begins. Now, that is Bitcoin and the chart of Bitcoin. Now I want to talk about this, and this is really worrying a lot of people out there. I actually think this is a bullish sign, because when you have this amount of shorts, and we saw it on the kind of liquidations that took place on Bitcoin in the long side, when you have this many shorts, this can be a telltale sign that you're about to fall straight down the other side, like you do every time you get overextended in regards to shorts. You can see here, more shorts than longs significantly, your longs fall. You know, you can see quite clearly that every time you get kind of jumped up, it pushes you down. And we know that traditionally, more traders lose money in the traditional market. I think it's like 90-something percent, 96% or something of traders lose money in the traditional markets. Cryptocurrency markets is a lot higher beta than that. So it'd probably be a higher percentage. If it's by a lot or a little, it doesn't really matter. So I think this is a bullish sign, not a bearish sign. Let's also talk about how markets, now for those of you, and we've not really spoken about it a lot, recently, because we've covered it so much when we first started the channel, is something called the Bitcoin 4-year cycle theory. And this essentially is the Bitcoin 4-year cycle theory here. That's one 4-year cycle theory. We're in another one that is going to theoretically end in 2020, at the start of 2022, essentially, or the end of 2021. Let's take a look at what happened in 2017. Around about the time period of May through to July, and let's see if there's any kind of telling signs there. And I think there are. I think it's always good to look at prior data and how markets reacted in a previous time period before. Let's go to the end of July. You can see that these months weren't great for crypto, but prior to that, guys, you had really just had, you know, a continuous rise, and these months weren't great. There is a saying out there: "Sell in May and come back at St. Leger's Day." This is usually been the case for Bitcoin and the overall crypto market. It's the same if we look at the total too, the total money in crypto, and ultimately we're seeing the same thing take place today, guys. You know, you have a run up, and then during this time period, May through to, okay, that's the wrong tool. May through to, you know, you can see that it's very much similar, guys. That the time periods and the kind of price movement that takes place within those time periods is pretty similar, to be honest with you guys. So that's the total money, and another reason why, you know, this could just be a sort of cycle thing. Bitcoin dominance is rising. This is bullish because we know the whole market follows Bitcoin, and essentially, when we usually see Bitcoin gaining some relative strength against altcoins, this can usually signal, you know, the bottom of a you can see here the bottom of a kind of a bearish period. We know that's certainly true in the past. You know, look, if you look here back in March, when everything sold off in 2020, you can see when we saw Bitcoin strength kind of gain again, that was really the kickstarter for everything. It is going to ultimately lose its value over time in terms of how much weight Bitcoin holds in terms of dominance, because we know altcoins are going to grow. So that is really all I have for you in this video. These just some food for thought. I also want to talk very quickly, you know, the World Economic Forum thing's huge. They're still on board with this, guys. I mean, we have an entire country that has just legalized Bitcoin, and people are bearish. I mean, this is things Satoshi only dreamed of back in 2008 when he, you know, created Bitcoin as a direct response to the financial crash. It's here, you know, you have, and not only that, you're going to have a domino effect of other countries doing so. If this works, if this experiment works, and that's really what it is in many respects, and there's no reason to suggest it won't. We can go into whether Bitcoin serves as an actual usable currency or not. I don't think it does. I think you need to apply applications to it, like the Lightning Network, or you can put layer 2s on it. You know, I think this is going to be great, and I want to talk about Plan B stock to flow, which is a good old model. 288k still in play, which is his end of the year price prediction. It would really surprise me if Bitcoin would not touch the black stock to flow chart model line in this thread. So this is, you know, you're still very much following the exact same route that you have on other cycles. It's just that other cycles look slightly different on the charts. You know, it would have been too easy for 2017, even though it looks very similar to 2021 to be identical. You know, 2013 prior to that was completely different, where you had this kind of double top cycle. I think that's enough information for this video. I just wanted to put everyone's minds at ease. There's lots of really scared individuals at the moment in regards to you know, the amount of shorts that are being placed on the market. This is actually, for me, a telling sign that, you know, the bottom could indeed be in. And, you know, we could be seeing a recovery from here. And there's a number of other factors like the Bitcoin dominance, the RSI in regards to Bitcoin, and the fact that whenever you get down to these levels, it's usually followed by a recovery, etc., etc., etc. All the bullish news, even though, of course, we know there is a lot of bearish news out there, but there's just as much bullish news, guys. And ultimately, the reason that so many people are taking in that bearish news is because it's really mainstream, and some of the bigger articles and the more significant things get kind of swept under the rug. So that is all I have for you in this video, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, a like is always appreciated, so is a comment, and I will see you all in the next YouTube video. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Have a fantastic weekend.